Am I the asshole for telling my kids the truth about why they aren't coming to my wife's family villa? My ex-wife Lucy and I have 3 kids, 16F twins and 10M. We divorced 9 years ago after the youngest was born because she came out as lesbian, no hard feelings. I married my now wife Julie 5 years ago after dating for 2. We have 2 kids, 4M and 2F. Julie was a common friend during our marriage, and almost as soon as we started to date, Lucy confessed that she had been in love with my wife for several years now, and since Julie is straight and I formed a life with her, it stained our co-parenting and overall relationship. Now thanks to that, she has made very difficult for me to have my kids during my breaks or in special occasions. If I want to do long holidays with them for a month or so, with some of our days trading, she says no. If I want to have them for my birthday, some random off days or my parents' birthdays, she says no. It's really difficult for me because I truly adore my kids and I want to spend as much time with them as I can. My wife and I have to travel to Europe around June for a month and a half to care for her mother. My plan was to take my kids during this time because her parents own a villa close to a small town that looks, just like my daughters would say, magical and medieval. I've been there twice, for a week or less, as an emergency trip, and it does look like something that would appear in GOT. I know my kids would love it. Julie's mother isn't bedridden, but we have to make sure she's okay at all times. This can mean being at the villa with her teaching us some of their family traditions, or touring the surrounding towns, and with the European train, I can take them to France, Italy, etc. As you can guess, Lucy said no and wasn't willing to discuss it further. I had to tell my kids that I can't take them and that maybe next time. I didn't mention or involved my ex-wife, and they became bad at me. I endured it as much as I could. But when my son asked if I preferred my new family over them and if Julie doesn't like them anymore, it broke me, and I said that I asked their mother if we could trade custody days so they could come with me, and she said no. I explained that it would make me and Julie very happy if they could come, but that we can't go against their mother wishes. She called me yesterday and called me an asshole for turning the kids against them because our son cried with her. She allowed me to take them and threw some passive-aggressive comments. But I'm confused. I don't think I turned them against them. They're confused and hurt, so I said the truth. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. She was using your kids out of anger. That's not cool. You can never go wrong with being honest with your kids. Time for her to start reflecting on her behavior. Not your problem. Not the asshole if you explained it to them as you wrote it here. And frankly, if your ex-wife is still holding a grudge about Julie 5 years into your marriage, then you might consider involving a family mediator to try and get her to see reason. She's hurting the kids more than she's hurting you or Julie. Not the asshole. She's been trying to turn the kids against you because she's jealous. People who are trying to manipulate someone are always angry when they get caught. How dare I have consequences of my actions? Not the asshole. She made her choice, she gets to suffer the consequences of that. Not the asshole. You tried your hardest to keep your ex out of the explanation, breaking only when you saw how much withholding the truth was hurting your kids. It's honestly more than your ex deserves when she's going out of her way to be a thorn in your side. Not the asshole. Your ex is an entitled a-hole. She is using your kids as hostages because your current wife does not return her feelings. Am I the asshole for telling my husband it's time to hash things out with my mom? I know this gonna sound weird, but I'm literally struggling with it. So my husband and my mom don't get on, like at all. They fight constantly. Admittedly, mom is the one who usually starts, but my husband also escalates and refuses to let it go every time. It's exhausting for the entire family, and they don't even fight over something worthy, they just nitpick each other's words. My husband told me many times that the solution would be that he stops going with me over to mom's house. I refused this solution because it's not practical nor is fit for long term. Besides, I don't feel comfortable attending family functions by myself like I'm single. My suggestion is for him to try to ignore her at least, and he said he would try. On Mother's Day dinner, Mom noticeably started commenting on my husband's mother, implying that she hated her children and isn't proud to be a mom just because she refused to celebrate with them. My husband wanted to respond but whispered to him to let it go and stay calm. And he did. He still looked visibly upset but didn't say a word, which made me think that my solution worked. But I was wrong. Once we got home, he followed me to the bedroom and said, "Listen, IAMNEVEEREVEER, going back to that house ever again after all the shit your mom done." I sighed and didn't say anything till he started throwing a fit about me watching my mom insult his and not wanting him to react. I snapped and told him he was acting childishly. He asked how and I told him by giving out threats and saying he won't go with me to my mom's house again. He tried to make excuses saying my mom created this situation and tried to put all blame on her. I told him he's no saint either, he has his moments and has a habit of letting things get this far. He said that I was the one who let things get this far by not setting my mom straight. I told him his problem is with her and that it's time that hash things out with her once and for all, just him and her. He sorta looked like I'd just offended him and told me I was wrong because this is my mom and it's my job to put a stop to her shenanigans and get her to understand that he was sick and tired of her bullshit. I told him he's an adult, why should I defend him while he hides behind me? He was like, okay. Don't get involved in the problem but don't tell me how to deal with it, then walked out and stopped talking to me. He took the couch which made me think that he was punishing me for something I didn't do. Am I the asshole? Admittedly, mom is the one who usually starts. Okay, so your mother starts shit. My husband wanted to respond but whispered to him to let it go and stay calm. And he did. And you ask your husband not to defend himself. I told him he's an adult, why should I defend him while he hides behind me? And then you refuse to defend him either. In this scenario, just who is supposed to be putting a stop to your mother's shit? The answer appears to be, no one. He should just shut up and take it, forever, and at that point yes, you are the asshole. You are the asshole. What's the matter with you? Your mum keeps picking fights with your husband and rather than speaking with your mum about it and placing boundaries, you instead tell your husband to shut up and take it? You are the asshole. A huge one. You are the asshole. We talk about men standing up to overbearing mothers all the time, the answer being to stand with your spouse, but you are telling your spouse to suck it up and making him deal directly with her? No. Not cool. And then there is this gem. My husband told me many times that the solution would be that he stops going with me over to mom's house. I refused this solution. You are forcing them together, letting her make disparaging remarks unhindered and then angry with your spouse for defending himself? Seriously? You are the asshole. Either confront your parent yourself or stop bringing your husband. You are the asshole. It is 100% your job to have this out with your mom. It is always on the spouse whose family is behaving badly to set their family straight. You are meant to have your husband's back. Your mom sounds like a really odious woman and I can't blame your husband for not letting things go. How dare she say things like that about his mom? You are failing as a wife. Do better. 1. Your side of the family, your issue. 2. He isn't the problem. Your mother is. You are the asshole. I'm going to go with you are the asshole. You admitted that your mother baits him. And what she said on this particular occasion there is no excuse for. Why aren't you standing up for your husband? Tell your mom to cut it out. I don't understand why you think it is incumbent on him to take her nasty comments. You keep saying he's an adult, well isn't your mother too? Am I the asshole for making fun of my brother-in-law after he lost a shit ton of money investing in crypto? So my 27M SIL's husband, 31M, is a piece of work. He's a bit of a braggart and gets off on boasting about his money and the things he's bought with said money. Me and my wife aren't exactly struggling, but we're not as well off as them. Every time we visit them, he'll pull me aside to show off whatever new gadget he bought. Whenever we go out to dinner with them, he'll insist on paying in the most condescending way possible. He'll also try to give me financial advice which is just annoying. My wife doesn't like him, but she puts up with it since she's very close to her sister. I'm kinda close to my wife, so I put up with it for her. So he got into crypto a year ago and shortly after NFTs. I work in finance and have learned a decent amount about crypto. I'm not some expert, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see how it's a Ponzi scheme. When he brought me this advice we argued on it. He accused me of not wanting to give my wife the life she deserves. He also said that he was going to make his family millionaires and called me naive for not wanting to join in. IDK if y'all have been watching the news lately, but a lot of cryptos aren't doing so hot. We hosted them for dinner with them last night. It was awkward. There was some tension there, but I really couldn't tell why. In a period of silence, I asked him, "So are y'all millionaires yet?" In that moment my wife's sister put her head down into her hands and was in tears in seconds. Her husband explained he bet money they couldn't afford on various cryptos that crashed. He lost a shit ton of money and said unless they figure something out they won't be able to stay in their house or pay for their 2 daughters' preschool. I was immediately met with a glare from him and my wife. I felt bad but I honestly didn't know and I wouldn't have mocked him. I knew he lost money but I didn't know he was going to lose that much. On when they left, my wife accused me of being in a dick measuring cons test against him and said I took it too far. I tried to argue that he started it and she told me I was being a child. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. First, you did not know. Second, after him gloating so much, there had to be some schadenfreude going on for you, which is understandable. Not the asshole, you did not know he was leveraged in crypto and lost the home. The people who talk the most about their money are often the people who spend too much trying to project an image. I'm down a ton in crypto too, but not like mortgage or retirement. The losses are all on paper till we sell. I have zero doubt my ETH holdings will recover. I'm kinda close to my wife. That's good. Not the asshole. Crypto is a delicious Ponzi scheme, tears of joy. Not the asshole. Just poor timing with a bad joke, which made you look like ah. I think you should though call your sil and brother-in-law and offer an apology that you didn't know the situation they are in and that it was a bad comment made at the wrong time. I'm kinda close to my wife, lol. Am I the asshole for kicking my sister out when she blew my money on online game? My 22 female, sister 27 female, has been living with me and my 3-month-old for the last 2 months after her company liquidated. She wasn't there long enough to receive a redundancy payment, so she was kind of screwed. Aside from the issue here, R was a good housemate. She was clean, had people over but never too many or too often, helped out with the baby. Just generally okay to live with, especially since she has actually been job hunting. Now the problem is, my sister was a recovered gambling addict. All of her bank cards have gambling blocks in place, because her addiction was so severe. She even would blow money on online games, such as Coinmaster this time. It doesn't even need to be real money she's winning. Just the spinny shit gives her that happy chemical. All it results in is losing money. She was using my tablet to do this, which I unknowingly had Google Pay set up on. I never changed the settings so that I'd need a password to buy anything on the Play Store, since I thought I was the only person with access to it. I was wrong. Yesterday alone, my sister managed to blow my entire paycheck on Coinmaster, and I wasn't aware until this morning when I went to get my groceries, but my card declined. I checked my banking app, and emails, and she had managed to spend everything on game packs. This meant that I wasn't able to grocery shop for the next 2 weeks, and while I can survive on what I have, the baby cannot, because we're low on everything for him, but I can't get what I need. I've posted on Facebook groups and stuff, but they haven't been much help yet. I admit, I was maybe more angry than I should have been at my sister, and as soon as I got home, I kicked her out. I didn't give her a reason, or let her know I know she spent everything, I just kicked her out. When our parents called to ask why, I explained SND. They said I'm being unfair, that since I didn't set up necessary protection and knowing she has a problem, I'm being an asshole. They won't speak to me now, and have taken my sister, who blocked me, in. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Call your bank and tell them that the payments were made without your knowledge or consent. Do the same thing with Google Pay. Stuff like this happens all the time with kids doing it, etc., so they should both have some idea on what you can do to recover at least some of your money. She knew what she was doing, she knew it wasn't her money she was spending, and she stole from you. Addiction is a disease, but that doesn't protect the person from the consequences of their actions. Not the asshole. This is money you earned for your child. The fact she did that knowing full well you have a child to feed makes her the biggest asshole ever. Not the asshole. I also note that YWNBTA if you reported your sister's theft and began legal proceedings to force repayment of the money. NTA. And your parents, your child's grandparents, are perfectly fine with defending and enabling a situation, theft, an actual crime as well, which could very possibly lead to health issues to the baby. Psychos, the lot of them. Please protect yourself and baby from her and your parents. I would bet money on her retaliating in some way. My worst thought is her calling CPS and framing it as you, and not her, gambled away the money and now can't feed or care for your own baby. Of course you're not the asshole. Your sister just stole your entire paycheck. She should be grateful all you did was kick her out, not file charges. Are your parent not appalled that their grandchild is about to go hungry because of his aunt? Addiction is a monster, but you also can't expect everyone in your life to alter themselves to cater to you and your addiction. Not the asshole. Let me get this straight. Your sister spent your paycheck on Coinmaster and now you have no money to feed yourself and your infant? And your parents somehow think you are the asshole? A loving grandparent would offer to replace that money so their grandchild can eat. Also, see if you can get the charges disputed. You might be able to get your money back.